involved in bringing a horse tank into a gym? Well,
First of all, measure the doors.
Yeah.
I didn't do that, so I showed it up with, I'm big is better. And so I showed up with the 8-foot, and I couldn't get it through the doors. So that was kind of a problem, so I had to go back and get another one. Thank you for helping that.
What was Storm's comment?
The goal was, Barry had a big vision, so like, let's get, we want to be able to fit many people in this tank at one time.
Absolutely.
And we couldn't just sitting on the trailer and Storm, quote from Storm, Barry, what are you trying to do, baptize Russia all at one time?
Sure.
Let's see, I watched, I was out of town that day, I was still mad, because I'm out of town that weekend, and then I saw part of the service video. You had set up like some privacy areas for men and women. How'd you arrange that to work in a gym?
I said Storm.
Yeah. Basically, that's what he did.
Explain what he did better than I thought. But that sounded wrong. He went to more detail than I would have done. He did a better job than I would have done. In other words,
The guy's side kind of got they just got like 2 panels that blocked the door from the rest of the room, and carpets.
It's a storage room.
It's a storage room.
It's not just a panel in the gym.
Yeah. It's a storage room with like panels that they use for, I think, mostly children's musicals that they store back there. And then, so they just had that, and then the women had like changing stations in the back we made from old banners that we used at last Easter as privacy curtains.
Roman 6 actually was on it.
Yeah, Roman 6 was on it.
There's no mastery.
He has no mastery over him. He is risen. And so anyway, so that was the women's changing area, and we did not honestly prepare for that many people.
no.
Wishful thinking, we thought maybe like 20. In my head, I don't know.
I was hoping for 30.
And there were 57.
Didn't want to
so,
say that out loud, but yeah.
So yeah, we did not prepare honestly well enough for the changing rooms and the influx. But yeah, we just basically just tried to make it carpeted so people weren't on cement, and we tried to make it semi-private so if people did want to change and it was a hindrance to them that they did not have that in the way. Men and women, and we had signs on the doors, we had attendants in there to kind of help them out. We had a lot of extra volunteers that day to, like you said with the follow-up, we had people trying to be there for towels, we had people who were responsible for stopping people before they left and make sure that they filled out a decision card.
And offer them communion as a part of that as well.
Yeah, we had our elders offering them communion on the way out
Sure.
the door as well. The idea was that we had enough people for you to give them one direction. So if you say, go to that, go to that door, then they can get a new instruction there, so they didn't have to worry about it, and they can just go through the process. But we did not prepare enough for that many people.
And their confession of faith too. That was kind of the idea. We wanted to have some of our staff members available to take their confession of faith, so that they could just get right in and have Barry baptize them. It didn't quite work out that way all the time. But that was kind of the idea, that as they come, we had our staff members available to talk and say, okay, great, let's, can you give us your confession of faith, and then we'd have them lined up and ready to go.
So then, this is again just a logistics question. The confession of faith, was that audible to the rest of the congregation?
No. They were worshiping full-blown,
Okay.
the 3 songs behind, and we were typing that on via video with the words over top of the video. So that way people would be singing the song, seeing what's going on, and if someone stopped, if we had people stop coming forward, then they'd just go to a normal background. And then we had, Ben Ewer had somebody stationed up front on a phone to say, turn it back on, and then they'd go back, because they couldn't see, and they'd fade back over. Oh, Logan did that part, to make sure.
Essentially, our worship center is set up so that there's not a lot of room on the stage, so the tank wouldn't fit on the stage. And so we had to put it on floor level, and since it was on floor level, if everyone's standing and we're all singing, no one would see anything that was taking place up front. So we realized midweek that we had to get this on the screens. We had to find a way to get this on the screen so that people could actually see what was happening, and we didn't want to abandon the idea of having lyrics so that we could all sing along with some of the songs. We were very careful about what songs we picked, and wanted to make sure that we had that available too. So the way to alleviate that was we had to, we did buy a piece of equipment that will allow us to do what's called an alpha keying, which allows us to send a signal on top of the video, so we were able to put lyrics from ProPresenter on top of it. Well, we also had to have someone tell our producer at the back of the room when to put the video on the screen or not. You don't, if nothing's happening, we just wanted it to go back to regular background. And then appear when it was time. Well, we, about 10 minutes through, 12 minutes through, Logan hadn't ever said, okay, fade that out. There was just still people coming the whole time, and we didn't expect that, didn't know that would happen, but I think the visual, like Barry was saying, seeing it happen made others want to come and make that decision as well.
Was there able to apply, sorry,
No,
but
but
while we're doing that, I was in the splash zone, so that was kind of while they're leading the worship, and we can see the words, everybody, as the baptisms are happening, I'm sorry, crying. It was really powerful. People would applaud for every one of them.
Yeah.
So it was a true celebration, because we were worshiping, we were singing, but the applause happened for everyone, so. You should invite me to these things. It was really weird. Yeah, it was very, very powerful. It was very powerful. In fact, I upstairs, see, I attend the contemporary service and worship with my family, but I lead in the traditional. And even though I'd seen this video 4 times before, we did ours differently. We had, first of all, we run concurrent services. If you're not aware of that, that's a special blessing. So, that's why we had to split up the preaching for that particular Sunday, so Barry would be available to be down there for as long as it took, because normally we are on a second-by-second timer, and he's got to get upstairs or down wherever he needs to go. So we anticipated we wouldn't have the type of response they're looking for downstairs, just given our demographic. And so we showed ours. If no one, the plan was if no one comes forward, this will be the place we put it at the following sermon in the celebration, following the invitation. We did the whole just as I am. Make another, I mean the whole thing. I mean all Billy Graham, the whole bit. And so, and no one came, so this is celebration. And then I had to get up and close out the service after watching that video, and I did what you just saw, twice. So anyway, so that was, I forgot where I was going with that. I don't know what I was saying.
We're in the splash zone, everyone's
You were watching a
Yes, this is what happened. So you don't know how people are going to take that. I mean, we show the video and stuff, and I react the way I do because that's who I am. However, I didn't know what to expect from the crowd. And so I get up, we see this, I do the closing, whatever that we need to say. And I thought, okay, I'll get it back together, before our closing song, because it's, Power in the Blood, ooh, it's a happy song, we'll just, I'll get it back together. But by the time I got the second time for the closing prayer, I saw all these seasoned Christians just doing this. So they were. So
Very deeply.
it was. So even though they didn't respond in the same way, the crowd stood downstairs. I think it's good for all of us to relive those birth stories. And so it's very powerful. And I'm done for today.